Why did the nuclear war of 2077 really take place in the Fallout universe? In Season 1 of the TV show, we are led to believe that Vault-Tec and their cabal of corporations started the war to eliminate all of their competition and have a monopoly control on the remaining humans. This is sold by Vault-Tec to the other corporate companies as winning the game of capitalism.
Our vaults have the resources to survive for centuries. Meanwhile, our competitors, every other human who isn't us, will be dead on the surface. That is how we will win the great game of capitalism, not by outfighting anyone, but by outliving them.
They could usher in a new age where they have complete authoritarian control over humanity, and they would keep the peace among themselves by having controlled competition among the vaults to see which of their social structures would last the longest and outlast the people on the surface.
Because it was the spirit of competition that made our companies great. And I propose we bring that same spirit of competition to our solution.
However, this doesn't explain the whole story. Outside of this, many of the vaults would also serve as a place to test out a large range of social experiments and technologies. This was in order to collect data for Vault-Tec and the Enclave, which is the remnants of a pre-war shadow government. The data was on pushing humans into various minor and major stress situations to learn how regular people would survive and adapt, going far beyond simply being a place where healthy competition could exist.
Set up to test humanity. Some had not enough food synthesizers. Others had only men in them. Yet others were designed to open after only 6 months. They each had a unique set of circumstances designed to test the occupants.
The Enclave was heavily involved in the creation of the vaults through a government program called Project Safe House, which gave government contracts to Vault-Tec worth hundreds of billions of dollars. As well, the Enclave built vaults of their own, hoarded advanced technology, and had a secret base built on the presidential oil rig out in the Pacific Ocean. This is where their shadow government was supposed to relocate after the war to continue ruling over what was left of the United States. This is where much of the monitoring for the Vault-Tec experiments would take place. It's unclear exactly how much game lore the TV shows will get into, but it's clear there is much more going on with the start of the nuclear war than Fallout Season 1 presents at face value. The plan of winning the game of capitalism is clearly just a selling point to get the corporate cabal in line, and I believe is nothing but a cover for the real reason. Before I get too far into this video, we must acknowledge that the games themselves don't have one complete canon and things have changed over time. A lot of this is due to the fact that Fallout has changed creators multiple times throughout the games, with Fallout 1 and 2 plus a cancelled third game being created by Interplay Entertainment. Furthermore, Fallout 3 and 4 was created by Bethesda, and Fallout New Vegas was created by Obsidian. Through all of this, things have been retconned along the way, and the plot lines about the Enclave's motivations with the vaults have either been changed or lost along the way. I am going to try and piece it together the best I can and give my own thoughts and theories as to where the TV show could be taking things in future seasons. Starting off, the onlookers at this meeting are most likely the Enclave. They were the ones funding the vaults and pulling most of the strings behind the scenes. And Tim Kaine, the original creator of the Fallout video game, clarified why the Enclave was interested in the vaults in the first place.
Making the vaults technological experimental beds with a purpose towards making a multi-generational starship to take our best and brightest away from Earth if there's a nuclear war. But I never view them through the lens of, look at these wacky experiments. Each one I was like, yeah, I can see how that would help make a starship. So you can think of the Enclave as evil or wacky or whatever you want, but there was originally a purpose for that, for all of this stuff.
In the context of this, we start to understand the vaults better. The vaults were originally designed as a place to test various social and technical situations that could arise from a multi-generational starship, because the Enclave was planning on leaving Earth for the stars after everything on Earth had been destroyed and humanity had died out. Only 17 vaults were designed to work properly as control vaults. The 105 other vaults were for the experiments. A spacecraft would have been designed before the war even began, and it was either under construction or completed before the Great War happened. The plan was for the government to flee to the oil rig and then leave there after the Great War, the spaceship, and the experiments were all completed. The Enclave believed that humanity was doomed regardless of who started the war, so they prepared for a future elsewhere and helped facilitate the start of the war with Vault-Tec. No doubt they most likely viewed Vault-Tec as more of a puppet. However, it would seem that Vault-Tec was doing their own scheming as well and had their own plans. They probably intended to take control of the wasteland after the Enclave had left on their spaceship. However, as it would seem, many things did not go as planned for either Vault-Tec or the Enclave. Let's skip ahead a bit to after the Great War of 2077 and get an idea of the changing motivations of the Enclave. Starting in the year 2140 onward, the Enclave adopts the policy of deeming themselves the remaining bastion of pure mutation-free humanity on Earth. They believe that anything in the wasteland is impure and must be exterminated.
True humans and democracy, to be safe, is to cleanse the mutants from the globe. We humans will take back that which is rightfully ours.
It would seem the years since the Great War, the Enclave had either forgotten their original mission or changed their minds about it. The reasons for a change of plan from space travel to a form of social Darwinism could have happened for various reasons. Perhaps there was too much infighting within their group, or the technical challenges were just beyond their ability. For example, shortly after the war, the Appalachian Enclave would break off and form their own group, which led to a brief civil war among the Enclave. Furthermore, many of the vaults would turn out to be horrible disasters, and much of the data collected was probably useless or gave them doubts about surviving in space. As well, according to the game's lore, even though the Enclave was preparing for the war, they were still caught by surprise when the bombs first dropped. If the Enclave took part in planning the war, then they should have known exactly when the bombs were going to drop. Perhaps Vault-Tec double-crossed them and dropped the first bombs early on purpose, because the Enclave, being caught by surprise about the bombs dropping, could have completely destroyed their space program. But that is just speculation, and perhaps the TV show will explore this a bit more. Either way, for whatever reason, the Enclave either abandoned their plans or couldn't follow through with it, and over the years they would turn their attention to the wasteland.
I'm quite sane, as is everyone in the project. We're dedicated to the salvation of the human race. You can call single-minded dedication to a cause madness, I suppose, but if so, it's divine madness.
The Enclave, being a shadow government, was involved in many conspiracies and secrets before the Great War of 2077. They practically ran the United States government and had near limitless power. So what would be their motivation to start the war in the first place? They are giving up their control on Earth for a massive gamble in space. Perhaps it was just their hatred of communism and humanity in general. People within the Enclave had a large range of bigoted and extreme opinions. For example, after the Great War, the Appalachian Enclave, purely out of spite, tried to keep fighting China and communism by getting their systems to launch a second round of missiles at China. I won't get into the details, but it would ultimately fail, and it just highlights the extreme nature of many members of the Enclave. It would seem that the war could have been completely avoided, but perhaps the Enclave just had a death-like cult mentality.
Our sales are fine. Sure, rumors of the peace negotiations have set us back a bit, but we're here to offer you an opportunity. We'd like to collaborate on some of our vaults.
America has been locked in a resource war for over a decade. Vault-Tec bought the means to end that war, the same war you fought in.
However, there is a wild card among all of this that I have not yet mentioned in this video. For players of the games, you are probably familiar with the Zayton aliens. In the game's lore, they have been abducting humans around Earth for hundreds of years even before the Great War. This is shown with their possession of a samurai and a cowboy. As well, they have been actively abducting people throughout the entire Fallout timeline. Their presence has been a thing of myth and conspiracy and has influenced many different people and groups throughout the Fallout video games.
The Starfather can free our minds of all restraints. We will be like gods, able to do unimaginable things. Then we will return to Earth to rule over mankind.
Vegas will be a shining jewel in the middle of the desert, an oasis of light, a beacon to show mankind the way to the stars. This is just the start, you see. This is where it all begins.
The government and the Enclave were actively hiding their existence to the general public before the Great War, and many of the Enclave's most advanced technologies may have originated from reverse-engineered alien technology. What makes things suspicious about the Zetans is the type of people they were focusing on abducting before the Great War of 2077. For example, they abducted the Assistant Chief Executive Officer of Vault-Tec while they were inspecting Vault 76. Furthermore, they abducted many US Army members from a range of backgrounds, a US Senator, and someone within the White House that had the codes that could launch the US nuclear weapons. They definitely seem interested in people that were involved in the vaults, the war, and the government. And after the Great War, they would continue to abduct many people and mutated creatures throughout the wasteland. But what exactly do the aliens want, and could their presence have affected the Great War? The motivations of the Zetans is never fully stated, but we can get a pretty good guess based off of circumstantial evidence. Firstly, the Zetans are horrible drivers and are constantly crashing their spaceships. Furthermore, the aliens are extremely physically weak, and they are small in numbers overall. The Zetans appear to be a species that are struggling with weakened bodies and seem to be having a hard time increasing the number of their population. They do seem to be a species that are on the decline. Based off of the human-alien hybrids that they created on their ship, they are trying to either get their population up or create a stronger version of themselves. They seem to view Earth as a place to get genetic resources, and I have no doubt that if they created a successful hybrid, they would probably invade Earth. It's unclear on how much direct contact the Enclave had with the aliens, but no doubt it would have largely affected their actions. I have to do a lot of guesswork with the aliens simply because they are left so vague in the video games. But with the Enclave's obsession with superior humans, killing everyone to cleanse the Earth and to travel to space, it seems like this could be a form of alien cult worship, and this may have been why the Enclave started the Great War. Or perhaps the Enclave viewed the aliens as the enemy. I imagine the Enclave working similar to the shadow government in the X-Files, probably layers and layers of conspiracy and opposing factions within their ranks, all of them reacting differently to the alien presence. And it would be interesting if the TV show explores this. But either way, what do you think? Please give me your thoughts and have a great day.